enormous work in the field of social service, particularly development of the rural areas and temple-centric economy. More so, their focus is on women development. It is indeed an honor to listen to you address at this auspicious occasion, sir. May we now request you to address the gathering.
पूजनीय स्वामी ध्यान गमयानंद जी, तिरुमति C.A. Nalini Padmanabhan, Director and Chairperson and the driving force behind Infinite Seva, Dr. A.S. Ganeshan, Chancellor Vinayak Mission Research Foundation, Salem, Thiru P. Mahinder, General Manager, Punjab National Bank, Chennai, Thiru G.V. Manimaran, Core Committee Member, Infinite Seva, Ms. Rukmini Tyagarajan, Patron, Infinite Seva, all the distinguished persons present here, most respected beneficiary ladies who have received the sewing machine today offered by the Infinite Seva with the assistance of kind-hearted patrons and active service of the volunteers. I am very, very happy to be part of this event. I got to know Nalini ji long back, and I got to know about what she has been doing. But it's the first time she gave me an opportunity to be part of it, event which she organized. The service to the people, the seva that Infinite Seva has been doing is of immense significance to our society, to our fundamental identity, who we are. This body has distributed sewing machines today, but I am also aware of what you have been doing for reclaiming and rejuvenating the dormant temples and farmers and many others. And I must congratulate you, all the members of the Infinite Seva, for what you have been doing. Friends, when we talk about Seva, women empowerment, we often couch this in our modern vocabulary, modern language, in the terms of dignity, in terms of empowerment, in terms of social justice. These are modern vocabularies. But Seva has been the essence of Bharat, essence of the Sanatan Dharma which created Bharat. You know, the concept of assistance or benefits given by the state, by the authorities, is a very, very new concept. It has started since the British days. Bharat has been here for several thousand years. People looked after themselves, each other. It was not by any authority, any external authority. There were kings or queens at some places, but they did not get into the lives of people on a day-to-day life. They had their own interest. And of course, when there was invasion, there was a major crisis, they would intervene. But society, the people looked after themselves without any interference, without any expectation from others. Bharat has been a society-centric Rashtra. It was the British when they came and about middle of 18th century and they took over the administration by removing the kings, all the numerous kings and queens. They took over the land, they took over the means of production, they took over education by closing all the educational institutions, and they made people dependent on the authorities. The farmers became dependent on what kind of crop they should grow, because the British would tell them, well, you grow opium, you grow indigo, or some different crops, because depending on their market needs. They took over the land and they weakened the society, they weakened the people. They eroded and degraded the social institutions. And they created more and more dependence on the authorities. Unfortunately, even after independence, we have been continuing that. Everyone looks to a state. A state means center or state, whichever, a state means authority. For assistance, any kind of a need, if the poverty has to be alleviated, look at that, whatever be the service, whatever be the needs. And the state, in all its arrogance, that tries to say, I'm giving you this much money, giving you that much. A culture of freebie has started, and as if I'm doing a great service to you. Actually, the Bharat organized itself long before the modern state, modern political state came into being. Unfortunately, it's the European notion of a state, European notion of administration, all those things have polluted and contaminated our thought. And we start talking in terms of dignity, in terms of empowerment, in terms of social justice. And Europeans also told us that people were all savages. They were all, before the state came into being, the people were all fighting against each other, especially jungly type. That's not the case. This is not something which Bharat believed. In our ancient, they have made it very clear, and there are records. We have, in fact, released some months back 2 volumes on Kali Yuga dated inscriptions, where 1,000 inscriptions, stone inscriptions from Kashmir to Tamil Nadu to Myanmar to Burma and Thailand. For over 5,000 years, how things were governed, how things were organized. Our people, our ancient says that a state is the people looked after themselves with a sense of belonging to each other. They say, na rajyam, there's a sloka, na rajyam na cha rajasit, na dando na cha dandika, dharme naiva praja sarva, rakshanti asma paraspara. There was no king, there was no state, there was no magistrate to punish, there was no one to inflict the punishment. No dando, no cha dandika. Dharme naiva praja sarva. People looked after themselves on the basis of dharma. And what is dharma? Dharma is, the core of Bharatiya dharma is, we are all a family. We all belong to one family, kutumbam. Every language, there is this view or this thought which has shaped Bharat and Bharat Rashtra. You will find it. Any language you go. That we are all a family. Pain of other is my pain. A suffering of other is my suffering. And so I must, when I serve the other, I take care of my own suffering. It is not as if I am a cat, again, English word they call charity. It's not charity, it is service. Here, if you look at, when in other languages there are plenty, even in Tamil, even in Tirukural, it says, Arvinal aguvadu undo, pirat noe tana noe pole potrarkikale. Pain of other is my pain. That feeling. When Swami Vallalar says, Vadiya pere ikand podelam vadin, when a leaf withers, it's my heart that pains. It's sense, it is this that made this Bharat. So seva, it is built on seva. Dharma is even look after others. Even Swami Vivekananda ji said, if you are carrying prasad going to the temple, and if you find that before you enter temple there is a hungry person, and if you don't feed and take the temple to the deity, it is a sin. Feed this, because they are all divine. It is the manifestation of the same divine, same God, same family, we are all. You cannot please God by just ignoring a suffering person. You cannot. So seva is something that is inherent character of Bharat. Bharatiya society, Bharatiya thought process, Bharatiya sanskar. Knowingly, unknowingly we do that. But unfortunately, this British tradition of dependence on the government, that everything you look to the government and government only gives you, this has weakened our. And it's necessary that society must be strong. People must come forward to help each other. Dependence on government must be minimum. And that is why, today we have a Prime Minister who understands. Prime Minister Modi understands Bharat. And that is why he has been, all his initiative, you will see there is an attempt to energize the society. He calls Jan Bhagidari. People's participation, every scheme you will find people's participation. People must come forward. Take the case when he started that every house must have cooking gas, access to cooking gas, LPG. He gave a call. Those who can afford to give up subsidy, please give up. So that we will provide, that money will be available to us to provide the LPG cylinder to those who are poor, who don't have. And millions of people of our country voluntarily gave it up. Millions, not one two. They gave it. When he gave a call that we must eradicate TB, tuberculosis, from our country, the usual approach would be all the primary health center, community health center give medicine, distribute medicine, and that's over. No, that's the way to do it, but that's not the right way to do it. Involve the society. So he gave a call. While distribution of medicine will happen, test facility will be provided, but society must also come forward to assist those who are in need. So he gave a call, Nikshay Mitra. Concept of Nikshay Mitra. Those who wish to adopt some person who is a TB patient. Because TB is essentially, it is linked with poverty. Mostly it is the poor who suffer from it. It involves not only medicine, treatment involves not only medicine but also nutrition. Treatment lasts for about a year. So he says people come forward and adopt a family or a person and take care of the nutrition need. And millions of people in our country came forward to become Nikshay Mitra. This is essentially building, waking up the society. That society has got the strength. The money that government distributes is not a government money, it is people's money. It's if the society wakes up and takes care of. So every initiative, he says, Jan Bhagidari, people's participation, essentially is the waking up the dormant or sleeping sense or sanskar that we have. And if you look at even in the recognition today, state recognition, Padma Awards and all. Earlier, all the big guys used to be, who are very famous people, used to grab the award. I am using the word grab because rightly so. I was in Home Ministry, and July, August comes, people will start approaching, please recommend my name, please clear my name for a Padma Award. What is this? Today, you all know that who all are getting Padma. People unknown, unsung, remote villages, tribal areas, doing good works, they are recognized because you are building the positive force, the good force, inherent, what is called Sajjan Shakti, the positive force in the society. Here, in our Lok Bhavan, we started in 2022 an initiative that 2 sets of people, unsung heroes, if I call them, to be recognized and to be felicitated. One in the domain of social service, other environment protection. And every year we get hundreds and hundreds of names of individual and entities, those who have been doing great service to the society. In fact, our jury has difficulty in shortlisting them because there are so many people who are doing good work. And we try to pick the best one, best in the sense that those who is perhaps among them most deserving, relatively, and who have not been celebrated before. We pick up such people and we felicitate. Essentially, this is a move to strengthen the positive force inherent in our society. And what Infinite Seva is doing is essentially by helping, by doing the service to the needy section, by seeking help of all this, you have a large number of people. We have seen during COVID time, how people, they volunteered. You see the goodness among the people. I was in Nagaland, and where there was no hospital, nothing, there was no BSL laboratory, no oxygen, nothing. And during COVID period, a large number of people, they started calling me, sir, in what way we can do? Please tell. And they started remote areas along Burma border, they went and built, in primary health centers, they built oxygen generating plants to make oxygen available. They flooded with medicines and whatnot needed. They started pouring in. All these Indians, not only from all parts of the country, but even from those abroad. And we could see how, and this happened all over the country. It's not only in Nagaland. We have that. People will say in Western countries that so-and-so foundation is doing a great job, they are most charitable. Here it is inherent in our society. When a hungry person comes, or when a guest comes, not only hungry, when a guest, any visitor comes to our house, we don't let that visitor go without feeding him or her. That's why we call Atithi Devo Bhava. A known person, a stranger coming to our house, you do not turn the person away. In US and all, if a stranger comes, you will be shot. That is how. It's not, and there they talk about charity. Here it is not. Here we believe that yes, the stranger who has come to my house is a divine. Walking divine has come and given me an opportunity. So if I have a food, whatever I have, I will share with that person. So this is what defines us. And when it comes to women, as the Infinite Seva is doing today, has done today, or has been doing for quite some time, we believe that women, who are almost half our population, in fact, happily we find their number increasing. In Tamil Nadu, the latest data shows that we have more number of women than men. And if they are not at the same level, or maybe better, to look after not only themselves to the society, to the family, to the society, contribute to the well-being of the family and the society and the nation and the Rashtra. This Rashtra cannot grow simply by developing men. This distortion in men and women also is not a very ancient phenomenon. We know that women were treated, or were not sort of treated. Treated is again a condescending notion that you were treated. They were looked at as equal partner. Our history is full of such stories where women leadership, intellectual leadership, battlefield leadership, everywhere they took the leadership. But over the time, deterioration happened and women have been neglected. Now, after independence, we started coming up with the programs of women empowerment. We also created a ministry of women and child welfare ministry. Funds are allocated. We said that women must, our girls, our daughters must study. But we didn't think of the basics, that how will they, unless you build toilet in the girl toilet in the schools. We never thought of doing that. We talked about. We also spent money, but we didn't actually do what was needed, because it is a fact, and I'm convinced that men believe that they know the problems of the women, but actually they don't know. In fact, I narrate the story. Long back, I was in Home Ministry, and an American delegation had come. In that there were some women. We had a long discussion. And in between, some women wanted to go to the restroom, and we didn't know where was the restroom. So this was the plight of the men. Men didn't know where the restroom exists in the entire North Block. It was a total chaos, finding out, do you know, and then finally we got to know, in a remote corner there is a restroom for women. No, the fact is it is not. And I'm glad that Nalini Padmanabhanji has taken up the role of women empowerment, because she would understand the problem of the women. Now, our Prime Minister often says, women-led development. Our country, Viksit Bharat, will be women-led. And it has to be women. And in this, in various levels, various capacities, women must come forward. And we must remove the obstacles. In this, you don't have to empower. Nobody will empower women. In our tradition, women are called Shakti. And how can you empower the power itself? All that is needed is remove the obstacles which you have created. I see university, as a chancellor, I distribute degrees, gold medalists, and I find that almost 80% of the gold medalists are girl students. But when I talk to them, in fact, it's a Dr. Ganeshan is in Salem. Now Salem, and we have university there. After distribution of this, and then I used to interact with the gold medalists, the girl students, they said, I asked them, what next? You are a gold medalist, what next? Some women with tears in their eyes says, sir, we will not be able to pursue it further because our parents will not allow us to go to Chennai or any place to do further any work or study further because they feel insecure. Now, this insecurity is an obstacle. It has to be removed. Child is bright, or perhaps the brightest. But obstacle that we have created, the society has created, that obstacle has to be removed. And they will come up. Be the positive force. A state, when I state, I mean not only provincial state, but union government as well. They are doing, now we have come up with a legislation in parliament. Nari Vandan Adhiniyam. That is women reservation in parliament, assemblies, 33% reservation. After the census, it will be implemented. But that is initiative at the political level. And that will be a very good initiative, because when we have at least 1/3 of our parliamentarians women, they would be able to understand and raise issues, women-related issues. There is a realization that men do not understand women's problem well. So we need to have adequate number of women representation. That will happen. But at the society level, as I said, that Bharat is society-centric, it's not a state-centric. It is a distortion. What we have seen today all these years is distortion, that a state doing everything. Society must come forward and rediscover its inherent strength. And in that, when making these women more capable, living, you can call by any name, by life of dignity, life of pride, self-respect, you can have n number of expressions. The fact is, these women, those who have benefited today through the infinite seva, they would be the catalyst for change wherever they are. And we need to have more and more in social initiative, more and more infinite seva. And I'm sure in the coming days, months, and years, this infinite seva will grow into a major mass movement. And it will fulfill the destiny of our nation, where we will be a fully developed Rashtra, in which women leadership will play the most pivotal role. Once again, my best wishes to Infinite Seva, all these people associated with it. Thank you very much.